Welcome to A Song of Ice and Fire Symposium. My name is Nav.
And I'm Harmat.
And this is A Game of Thrones. Chapters 26, 27, and 28. Jon, Eddard, and Catelyn. In these chapters, I forgot to think of something to say.
We meet some new people.
Hello, Harmat. What did you think of these chapters?
They were pretty good.
Pretty good? Come on! You're still at pretty good. This book is... Okay, can I just say, right now I'm reading the second book, and I'm like 90% through it, and some really crazy shit is happening, and it is so good, I can't even. I just can't even. Can we get through this book to all the really other good stuff in the other books?
Oh my gosh. We'll see that book, like, after we're, like, you know, old.
No, we're gonna see it soon. Remember this, the reason we're doing 3 chapters or multiple chapters at a time is to get done with this. We can do it.
Yes. Okay. Let's do it.
Okay. Sorry, I never actually got past you thinking that these were pretty good.
They were good chapters. It was just like,
were you excited? Did you find them compelling?
I
interested?
loved,
do you care?
I felt most into it during Ned's chapter. Ned's chapters, honestly, I think Ned's becoming one of my favorite characters.
Well, this is his 7th chapter, so
it's probably a little bit of bias when you keep being introduced to a character. That's true.
Oh no,
but
it's not 7th,
like
it's 6th. But
I see. But
yeah.
I like Ned. He's cool.
Okay.
I just felt
he is from the north, so you would imagine him to be cool.
Yes. I was the most like, ooh, yes. I was like very tuned in his chapter.
Well, it's kind of the main story of the book, you know,
his
whatever he's up to.
Yes.
We'll get there. Okay, let's start with Jon. This is, you know, I was reading it and I'm like, one thing happens. We meet Sam. And then I went to write the
summary.
Oh, shit. See, we haven't done this in so many weeks that I've forgotten what to do. Okay.
This is the hard part. Should have reminded you.
Yeah, we could have totally... I would have not remembered. Okay, are you ready to summarize then?
As ready as I'll be.
Okay, so I'll give you 30 seconds per chapter, and I'll wave my hand to signify when you have to switch, or I'll say it. I don't know.
Just say it.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, Jon.
Okay, they're like hanging out, training, and Sam comes in, and they're all like, "Oh my gosh, you're a coward," and he's like, "Yeah, I am a coward," and they're like, "Oh my gosh, he admitted it, he's so weird." And then him and Jon become friends, and that's like a nice little fun little thing, and they become brothers, and I just skipped to the end. Anyway, there's a lot of we find out his backstory. We kind of talk about, they have a big whole bonding
Eddard.
moment. Okay. What happens in Eddard? Oh, Eddard's like in his room, he's just like reading the book, like the book that Jon Arryn got from the Maester, and he's just reading the book, and he's like, tra-la-la-la, I don't know why this is so interesting, whatever. And then Jory comes in, he kind of tells him, like, okay, this is what all the suspects say. And he's like, okay, so then he goes to...
Witnesses.
He goes to see the... witnesses. He goes to see the... You know exactly what I'm talking about. He goes to see the guy, and we meet the guy whose name starts with a G. Gendry. We meet Gendry, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, King's bastard."
Gendry is in graphics.
Why did Jon? He's like, "Why did Jon?"
Oh, sorry. Wait, you need to switch. I totally lost track of time.
Okay, and Catelyn, they're on their journey. They're like, "Oh my gosh, we could go to River Run." Oh no, we can't. They're like, "Oh, we could go to." No, we can't. We just have to head north. And they're like, "Okay, well, night's falling. Let's go find somewhere to stay." And so they go to the place that she used to stay when she was a kid, and we're there. And turns out it's a bad idea. So they go down for dinner, and Tyrion Lannister comes in. And
5 seconds.
unfortunate events happen. Unfortunate
The
events
end.
happen.
Okay.
Mob vibes.
Okay, that's it. Sorry, I distracted you. To anybody who is in, privy to our conversations before the recording, which is everybody but the two of us, we were debating whether it's GIF or GIF. And there's also Gendry, as some people pronounce it Gendry. So
Gendry?
yeah, like
Gender-y.
GIF or GIF.
Oh my
Gendry or
gosh.
Gendry. I think the
Interesting.
audiobook person pronounces it Gendry, but they
doesn't
do
he also say that-
Gendry Patire. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
Doesn't-
Which is why I lean towards like the show's pronunciations, which is Gendry. So anyway,
Okay, Gendry.
Gendry.
Interesting.
Okay, so now we get to John. And
Yes.
why don't you take us through the chapter, Harmat?
Okay, so we start the chapter, and John is teaching people how to fight. John is being a leader, And so we see like a new person come in, and we find out. Well, we don't find out. John's like, oh my gosh, this guy's fat, and then John finds out that he's not just like a random dude. He's highborn, but he's very timid and scared of everything. He's very soft, and
He's fat.
So
So,
yes.
which is rare in this world because most people don't have enough to eat. So
yeah, which is also another clue that he's not just someone random.
somebody
like,
off
he's
the
had
streets.
he's had enough to eat in his life. And so Sir Alistair, so he brought his own armor, but Sir Alistair is like, no, it's not black. So he has to wear armor that doesn't fit him, which is unfortunate for him. And then Sir Alistair is like, okay, Halder, go attack Sam. And then Sam's like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. And he yields, because he's afraid. But Sir Alistair's like, no, just keep going. It's fine. And then he keeps hurting him. And it's not really fun. And then John like tries to go in and like do something about it. But then I think, who was it? I think Pip. I was like, what's his name? Pip.
I think
like,
it's Piper, but they call him Pip.
Yeah, Pip is like, stop, he already hates you. And he's like, okay, whatever. But then, like, after a couple more seconds, he goes in, and he... Wait, what does he even do? I don't remember.
He's just like, you'll have to get through me to
Yeah,
fight
yeah.
Sam. And then
Yeah.
Pip and Gren join him, and they're like,
Yeah.
we're macho men, we're gonna fight you.
Yeah.
Basically.
And then Sir Alistair's just kind of like, oh, well, why don't you all just fight?
And then they do, and then it ends.
It's just this whole energy of like, I'm better than you. It's just this whole boring little thing going on. And then, but we find out that Pip and Gren are kind of his like, his backup whenever he needs them. They're kind of his go-to
buds.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're his best buds. That typical thing of like the three, and then one person's like the leader. That's their group. And then, so training
They're
ends.
his Crab and Goyle.
Yeah, there's Crab and Goyle, that's true. Or his Hermione and Ron,
I don't know. I get more like Crab and Goyle feels because mostly we've seen them fight with him,
Yeah, that's true.
But
okay,
anyway.
So then training ends, and Sam admits in front of the three musketeers that he is a coward, and the Pip and Gren are kind of like, he just admit that? What a loser.
Yeah.
And John's kind of thinking in his head, he's kind of thinking about Tyrion at this point.
Well, no, this isn't when he's thinking. So at that point, they just leave because they're like, okay, I guess you're a coward. And they go about their day. And John's thinking, he explains how every day they do a different task so that the Night's Watch can judge their abilities and then, assign them to a specific guild or whatever. And this day he has to go spread gravel on the wall, which is, I guess, a task you have to do. And while he's up on the wall doing that, that's when he's thinking about Sam and what Tyrion might think of him.
John's kind of thinking about Tyrion, his bestie, his real bestie, and he's kind of like, Tyrion said to him once, like, most people just spend their lives pretending that they're not, like, cowards, but really, Like it takes like a weird
a certain kind of courage to even admit to being a coward.
Yeah. So John I think is different from the others because, well, especially because of Tyrion, because he now has this added perspective, and he's like, he admit that. That's interesting. And then John goes to have supper, because it took him a long time to do the gravel thing, and then he notices that Sam is sitting by himself. And he's like, you want to go outside? And Sam's kind of scared at him. He's like, why are we going outside?
Like, is this take it outside and fight it out kind of thing?
Yeah, literally. And then we find out that Sam is afraid of a lot of things. And John's kind of like, what are you
he's afraid of everything. He doesn't like hunting. He doesn't like the cold. He doesn't like heights. He has come to the wrong place.
Yeah, and John's like, why are you even here if you're so afraid of everything? And before they get to that, John tells Sam about his dream, which he hasn't told anybody yet.
Well,
he's like,
you know, Sam kind of quiets down when John asks why he's here, because Sam doesn't want to open up. Yeah. So I think in a way to kind of, you know, create that connection, John's like, I'll tell you about my stuff so you can tell me about your stuff.
Yeah.
But he tells him about this recurring dream he has. Do you remember what it was?
He's at Winterfell, and he's going through this like long empty hallway, and he's looking for like different people. Sometimes he's looking for Arya, and sometimes he's looking for Ned, and every time there's no one there. And apparently wasn't there, he says that like the whole castle's empty and there was like bones.
Well, every time he finds himself at the door to the crypts. Yeah, and then is like goes down, feeling compelled to go downstairs, like go down into the crypts, but he doesn't want to because the bones of all the dead Starks are there. Yeah, but he says it wasn't the Kings of Winter that scare him, so that he's not afraid of them, but he still doesn't want to go down there. Yeah, and it's just he's like, it's getting darker and darker down there, and he's like, that's usually when I get afraid. Yeah, it's, I think I have the paragraph here. He says, I scream that I'm not a Stark, that this isn't my place, but it's no good. I have to go anyway, so I start down, feeling the walls as I descend, with no torch to light the way. It gets darker and darker until I want to scream. That's when I always wake. So he's telling, it seems like, the dead Starks that he's not a Stark, so why are they, why is he feeling the need to come down to the crypts? What do you think?
Those are all, okay. I was thinking about this, and at first I was so confused, but then I was kind of thinking, like those are all the people who've, like, led, right? Like, those are all the kings and stuff down there.
Yeah, the old Kings of Winter are...
Yeah. So, maybe it's, like, maybe that's his calling, you know?
To be a King of Winter?
Yeah, and he's like, I'm not a Stark.
He's a bastard, yeah.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, he's like, I'm not a Stark. I am a bastard. But they're like, no, you have to do this, because there's nobody else in the castle.
Oh, okay. So what happens to everybody else in the castle?
I mean, I've been predicting since the start that a lot of people die, so maybe all the Starks are the ones who die. I'm hoping that not all
every
of them
Stark dies, and then it's just down to Jon.
Okay, maybe, okay, let's be hopeful here. Maybe they don't all die. Maybe they all have, like, different things to do. Like, Ned has to go be the hand of the king. Like, maybe Robb has to go do something else. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe they all have to, like,
so they're otherwise occupied, so... Yeah. For whatever reason, they
and
come to Jon and tell him
I thought that Cat was gonna die. So Cat is dead in this hypothetical
in your
in this hypothetical world. Cat is dead.
No.
Ned is occupied. Robb is I don't have an explanation for that. But for some reason, I think Jon has to, maybe if it's not even like King of Winterfell or whatever, it's like something that he's like afraid of doing. And since there's no one there's like no one to like guide him, you know?
Okay.
So that's kind of, like, alluding to, like, that it gets darker and darker because there's, like, no one. Like, there's no one there.
No light guiding him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, that's my prediction.
All right. Interesting. We'll keep that in mind as we go on.
Yes.
So
then...
when he's thinking about this dream, he's also thinking about Benjen Stark. And we find out that he's still missing. And he talks about how, some people from... the Shadow Tower went out looking for him, and eventually they lost his trail, and, you know, it was somewhere in the Stony Highlands to the northwest. But they don't know what happened to him after that, so he's still missing.
Which I mean, like, I expected it, because if he wasn't missing, we'd, like, find out about it sooner, but I was kind of like, sad vibes. Yeah. But I'm losing hope that he's gonna turn up. Like, maybe he'll turn up, like, at the start of winter and be like, winter's coming, and everyone's gonna be like, duh, it's already here. You know? Like, that could be a little moment. And then...
Duh. Okay.
And then, like, that could be a little moment.
Yeah, okay. So you do think we'll see him at some point, but not anytime soon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, that is my hope.
All right. Okay, so at this point is when Sam tells a story in a calm and non-crying way. For
someone who's so afraid of everything, he doesn't seem to be afraid of his wicked father.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So do you remember this story?
So he was born, and he
really?
He was born. After he was born.
Okay. Anytime somebody asks me for somebody's story, I'm gonna be like, okay, so first, this person was born. And I'm sure they wet their diaper a lot. And then they grew up. And then
okay, whatever.
Story.
Anyway, so not he was born. After he was born, he kind of, as he was growing up, he liked to do...
Sorry. He was born. I just can't stop thinking about it.
He liked to do things that people perceived as girly, such as music and, you know, artsy,
books and
fun
kittens.
stuff. Yeah. He liked all that kind of stuff, and his dad was like, oh my gosh. But then his dad got remarried, and
Wait, he didn't get remarried?
Didn't he? I thought, didn't they say somewhere they were like, oh, like the third wife had a son?
No, after 3 daughters, she had another son.
Oh my gosh, I'm dumb. Okay, wait, but, okay,
Sam was the heir, and then he had 3 sisters, and then he had a brother.
Okay, I don't know why I remembered it as, okay, whatever. Anyway.
You must have read it wrong, but I'm telling it how it is.
Okay, cool. So then he had a younger brother, and he had a few years of just doing his thing, because his dad was preoccupied with his younger brother.
because his dad liked the younger brother better, so he replaced him. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was kind of like, okay, well, like, whatever, I'm just gonna, like, go play with kittens. And then he did. He just, you know, he played with kittens and listened to music for a while. And then suddenly, he was, 15? On his, like, 15th birthday?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, on his 15th birthday, his dad was like, okay, buddy, your time's up. You have 2 options. I don't know what voice it is, but it's a voice.
Okay, hold on.
His dad was like, you have 2 options.
The way he does it, though, he calls him out to the woods where he's skinning a deer. Like, if you don't listen to me, this is what's gonna happen to you.
Essentially.
And he's basically like, take the black or die in a, air quotes, hunting accident.
Mm-hmm.
And then he rips out the deer's heart, and it's like...
Yeah, that was
very graphic.
Yeah, graphic.
That's Randall Tarley for you.
Yes.
That's his dad's name.
I
see. Sam is Samwell Tarley, son to Randall Tarley, who is a bannerman to Mace Tyrell. And Mace Tyrell is the Lord of Highgarden and Warden of the South. So he's, like, important like Ned is.
Yes.
Or Ned's even more important now because he's Hand of the King. But you know what I mean. Like,
yeah.
These are important people. Oh, and also, they've got a great Valyrian steel sword called Heartsbane. Mm-hmm. Which is, like, been passed down from generation to generation. And that's cool because Ned Stark also has ice, which is a Valyrian steel sword. So, and those are pretty rare. So, it's cool.
Yeah. So, at this point, John's kind of like, oh, I'm just gonna shut up now, because I don't know what to say to that. Yeah. And so, they go to the common room, and John goes to the common room, Sam goes to bed, moment's over, and then Jon convinces everyone to not fight against Sam, and he kind of, some of them he has to threaten, some of them just kind of listen to him. It's this whole thing, but he's like the natural leader, so in their kind of group, so it works out. But Rast is like, if he sends me after him, I'm gonna go after him. So everybody's like, okay. So then that night, Jon and, his little pack sneak into Rast's room and threaten him with Ghost. And they kind of give him like a cut on the neck.
Mm-hmm.
And then
he cut from his razor.
Oh yeah, totally.
Not a direwolf.
And then nobody hurts Sam, and Sir Alistair's like, "Ya cowards." And he's just kind of annoyed all the time. And that's a little moment.
That's kind of his general, how he is.
Yeah. And then Sam's like, "I don't know how you did it, buddy, but thank you.
We're bros now." No, he's like, well, I've never had a friend. And then Jon's like, we're not friends. We're bros.
We're bros. And I was like, aw. And it makes sense, because with friends, you choose them. They didn't choose to be friends.
Well, they did.
No. They were forced together. When you're forced together, it's like family. But when you're, like, whether you like each other or not, it's like family, because you're stuck with them. Like, they're stuck with each other for life. But with friends, it's
but technically, Sir Alistair is also their brother. They don't.
Okay, that's just weird. See, he's like the annoying brother.
Okay.
He's
well,
like
more like
oh my
the
God, he's
uncle
like the Percy
that you don't like or something.
He's the Percy of the family.
Yes, Percy, for sure.
Yes, he's the Percy of the family. You're like, okay, prefect, calm down.
So let's see here. That was a good summary. Give yourself a pat on the back. I'm gonna give myself a pat on the back because you basically read all my summary. You did! But I create notes so that we can use them, so it's okay.
Yes.
Okay, so the other thing, this is worth mentioning. This isn't worth mentioning. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to see what else I can cut out of, like, we're at 24 minutes and we're only one of the quickest chapters through, okay? Alright, so let's move on to predictions for this chapter. We're gonna do them chapter by chapter now so that we have the chapters fresh in our mind and we can, talk about things.
Okay.
So, question number 1. Will Sam get over his fears?
I don't know if he'll get over them, but he'll have to deal with them. Because he can't just be like, no, I'm not going up the stairs to the wall. Or, sorry, I'm not going through the thing to the wall. Like, he'll forcibly have to. I don't think he's gonna be like, yeah, guys, let me get over my fears, but he'll have to.
He'll have to face his fears.
Yes.
Not that he'll want to. Okay. And we kind of talked about what Jon's dream means. You think it's that he has a calling, but he doesn't have anybody to direct him.
Or it could just be Wolf being like, I want you to lead.
Wolf? Which
his
wolf?
Ghost.
Ghost. Okay.
Ghost.
I remember when you called all the wolves Ghost, you were like, his ghost. Anyway, okay, so, and then we talked about Jon's dream. You said what that means, what you think it means. And also in regards to Benjen, you think that he'll eventually show up, but not anytime soon.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Moving on to Lord Stark, Eddard.
Stark. Okay, so everybody's coming into the...
Do you want me to talk for a bit? Or
go for it.
No, I want to talk later. Sorry, talk now.
Okay.
Because later it gets more interesting.
Oh, okay. So everybody's coming into the city. They're having a council meeting, and obviously, Sir King isn't there.
Sir King. Sir King.
That's what I'm gonna call him. I've picked up this habit of just, like, when I'm like, I just refer to people as Sir now, so that's why I'm saying Sir. Not because he's a knight, which might be problematic for this book, but hopefully the people listening understand. It's fine. So, the King, Robert, is obviously not at this meeting. So, the people are coming into the city. There's some problems. There's just some people preparing for the tournament a little too enthusiastically. They're like actually fighting before the tournament, even though they should be saving it.
I don't know if they're preparing for the tournament, but it's that because of the tournament, there's a lot of people coming into the city, and because it's like close quarters with a lot of people, more fights and things are likely to happen.
Yes. And so Janos Slint is there. He's the commander of the city's police.
City Watch.
The City Watch. He's the commander, and Renly's like, you can't handle this? Okay, well maybe you shouldn't be doing the job anyway. And Ned takes a little bit more of a kinder approach, and he's like, hey, hire 50 men. What's his name?
Littlefinger.
Pater will find you some money. And he's like, I will. And he's like, yeah, you will. So Pater's gonna find him some money. He's gonna hire 50 men.
Can you not say Pater?
Sorry. Peter's gonna get him some money to hire some men. And Ned's also like, okay, I'll give you 20 people from my guard just to borrow for right now. And he's like, thank you. So then they just kind of keep talking about the tournament. He's like, ugh, whatever, tournament. But then everybody's like, okay, but think about it this way. It's good for our economy and people are happy because they get things.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay. And then they
Hold
talk
on.
about...
Let's pause here for a second. So I want to bring up some... So as you know, as people know, I've been trying to read Race for the Iron Throne, each of the chapter analysis as I go along, because I really enjoy Stephen Atwell's analysis for each of the chapters. And he brought up something interesting here. So the tourney is bringing in money for some of the businesses, like the brothels and the breweries and the inns are making money, but it's not like the regular, like, everyday businesses that people in the city use are making that much money. So, like, it's good for some people, but not really for all. And also, remember we were talking about how Robert is giving away 90,000 golden dragons as the winnings? And I was trying to tell you how much that's worth. So Stephen Atwell actually had a really good, nice calculation, and it is equal to a comfortable yearly income for 18,000 people.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Oh my
So
gosh.
instead of, like, investing that money in the cities, like, social services, I don't know how they work in getting everybody a universal basic income. They're doing this shit.
Robert is all about short-term enjoyment over long-term profit and, like, wellness. It's just and it's not like he wants to, have these responsibilities, so he's obviously not gonna. He's just useless.
He just cares about the party.
Yeah, exactly. He's just useless.
But anyway, I wanted to bring that up because I found it very
That's interesting. Okay, so then they talk about how Stannis wanted to outlaw the brothels, and how everybody was like, are you joking? No. And
he wasn't joking, but everybody else is joking about him.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's so, I don't know if you remember, but what's his name? Jaime Lannister described Stannis as being somebody that's enough to give anybody indigestion.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of the vibe we get from him now.
Yeah. So Stannis still hasn't returned from Dragonstone, which is brought up many times.
Yeah, because he left when the king went to Winterfell, and nobody's seen him around, and he's on the council, so he has responsibilities in the city as well. But what's he up to?
Yeah, and the fact that, like, there's not even, like, a reason, like, like, if you're,
you're just like, I'm visiting my country house.
Yeah,
I'm never returning.
Like, if you think you're like, if you're trying to cover something up, you're probably gonna be like, oh, well, like, I'm going to do this. But I feel like this case is kind of a lot more like everybody just kind of accepts that he's
maybe he had too much of the light nature of Robert and his council, and he was like, I'm going somewhere serious.
I think that could probably be true.
That's what Ned wants to do. He wants to go back to Winterfell, where it's serious. Okay, I don't know why I'm talking like that. Let's move on and overlook that.
So, Ned goes to his room after the council meeting's over, and he's looking over the book that he got from Maester, and,
Maester Pycelle. Can you just... Maester is like saying he got that book from Mister, and not like saying which
okay,
Mister.
fine. Maester Pycelle. He got it from Maester Pycelle. He's kind of looking over his book, and he's like, this is so boring.
Yeah.
Why did John Arryn
it's
want
called
this?
The Lineages and Histories of the Great Houses of the Seven Kingdoms, with descriptions of many high lords and noble ladies and their children by Grand Maester Melian.
Sir, that is more like a summary than a title.
Yeah, it's like, what is it? What are they called?
Like a synopsis? Or like,
but
what are they?
at the beginning, like, not an appendix, but shit. When you, like, read a very fancy paper, like a peer-reviewed article.
Oh, preface? Or...
No, not preface. Hold on. I need to look this up now. Sorry, this is gonna bother me for so long. I'm just gonna go to my school library and open up any random article. Online articles.
Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, they're in, like, every single study.
It starts with
and
A.
stuff.
I can't remember the word now. Okay. Just open something. Oh my god, I can't... What is this word called?
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I don't know.
Abstract.
Yes! Abstract. Thank you. Okay. So the title of this book is more like an abstract. It was gonna drive me insane. I'm not kidding.
Okay, so, he's looking over the book, and Jory comes in. He's like, hi.
Well, hold on. Let's talk about... So he's like, he's thinking this is somehow related to the Lannisters, so he's looking over the Lannister lineage, and we find out... I think we talked about this maybe a little bit in... when we talked about the appendix, not the abstract, the appendix, that they're descended from Lan the Clever, who winkled the Casterlys out of who winkled the Casterlys out of Casterly rock with no weapon but his wits, and stole gold from the sun to brighten his curly hair. Sounds like quite the guy.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, whenever I read Lan the Clever, in my head I want to say Lan the Cleaver. I don't know why.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. So, yeah, he's just, he's like, there's nothing useful in this book. What was John Arryn up to? And then Jory walks in.
Okay. So then they talk about the 4, like...
servants that John Arryn
servants.
left. Yeah.
I was about to say suspects again, and I was like, wait, no. Yeah, the only servants that they actually left. And we find out that Jory talking to them wasn't really... Ned thinks that it wasn't really having the same effect, because then he's like, okay, well, maybe I should go.
Yeah, well, let's see what he finds out from all of the different people. So he talks to Sir Hugh, which is the newly knighted knight. He used to be John Arryn's squire. But because he has the arrogance of a newly knighted knight... I feel like there should be another thing that I could say. Okay, so the knight is too arrogant to talk to Jory. He's like, if the hand wants to talk to me, he can talk to me directly.
Yeah.
And so he doesn't get anything out of him. The serving girl tells her that, John had been reading too much, and he worried too much for his son, and he didn't like his wife, so that's what killed him.
Yeah.
The pot boy, he's just got a bunch of gossip. He's like, the Lord fought with the king. He picked at his food. He wanted his son fostered at Dragonstone. He had a great interest in breeding of hunting hounds, and he visited some armor for a new suit of plate. New suit of plate? That's a very weird phrase. Sorry, so a new suit of armor, let's say that. Yeah. Which turns out to be somewhat useful, because it turns out Stannis went with him to help him, quote-unquote, pick the design.
Mm-hmm. And
then, lastly, the latest person that Jory's talked to is the Watchman. So he tells, John Arryn liked the horses. The horses liked him because he brought them apples. cool. But then he says that he often went riding with Stannis, and when asked where, he said to a brothel. So now, this is really interesting because we've heard all about how Stannis hates brothels.
Yeah.
And now we're learning that he went to a brothel with Jon Arryn. And then also that he went with Jon Arryn to get a new suit of armor, but Jon Arryn wasn't the kind of guy that had, who wanted fancy armor. He was just like, it serves its purpose, whatever.
Yeah. So both of these things do not line up with their personalities at all. So Ned's like, this is sus. And Ned's like, why is Stannis there? And all the things that don't seem to, like, add up in this story. He's like, okay, we gotta head out. And,
well, before he heads out, he makes sure, he's wondering about Stannis, like, oh wait, sorry, you already said that. He's, as he's, like, thinking about Stannis, he's also thinking about how Renly wasn't involved in this, even though he's also, Robert's brother. And then he remembers Renly showing him a picture, like a painting, of Marjorie Tyrell, Sir Loras Tyrell's sister. And he was like, hey, does she look like Lyanna? And Ned was like,
no.
Like, why do you care? And, he wonders, he's like, could it be that Lord Renly, who looked so like a young Robert, had conceived a passion for a girl he fancied to be like a young Lyanna? That struck him as more than passing queer. Oh, George. You don't get it, but somebody listening does. Okay. So anyway, what do you think this is about? Renly, why did Renly care whether this girl looked like Lyanna?
Is it like
does he have a crush on her and want to be?
I don't know, but the only thing I can think of is maybe it's like, oh my gosh, like, but I don't know. I feel like this doesn't really fit in with his personality, but I can't think of something else. Like maybe it's like, oh, like my brother has everything. If I have a girl who looks like Lyanna, it's like
he wants to like be so much like his brother.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm gonna torture my brother with a girl who looks like Lyanna. But that's like, I don't know. That's
that seems kind of cruel.
Yeah, so I don't know, but that's the only reason I have.
It is interesting. Okay, so anyway, at this point, Ned dresses up and he's, wearing his direwolf sigil and the Hand of the King, like, brooch or badge or something. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And he's like, I want everybody to know who the hell I am, so they will tell me everything. Besides, I want all those spies to know exactly where I went and exactly who I talked to.
Exactly.
Like, later on his way, he's wondering, like, whether he's being watched or followed, which very likely he is. Yeah. But even so, he, like, doesn't disguise himself.
Yeah.
He doesn't disguise himself.
Yeah. He's very smart, but he hasn't gotten smarter since he got here. Like, he's not clever yet, with his ways.
He's like, I don't trust anyone. But also, I'm not gonna do anything to reflect the fact that I don't trust anyone.
Yeah. He's Ned. Anyway, so then he tells Jory to start looking for the brothel that they went to. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I'm gonna go to the armorer. And so he gets there after walking through the city and going up the hill.
Riding through the city.
Yes, riding through the city. And so he lets him talk for a bit about how nobody can forge something as well as he can. And
he knows the Valyrian steel ways.
Yeah, all that salesman talk. Mm-hmm. And so after he talks, Ned asks him about Jon Arryn. He's like, oh, so did Jon Arryn? He wasn't, I don't remember what it was, but he wasn't very subtle about it. Like, he just suddenly was like, so, Jon Arryn. And I was like, you're not even trying to hide anything. Anyway, so he finds out that Jon had come to see a boy. Then Ned's like, okay, well, I want to go see the boy too. And so, Ned goes to see him. His name is Gendry. Mm-hmm. Gendry, I'm gonna have to think about that every time I try to say it. It's okay if you say whatever. And so he's kind of talking to Gendry, and he's kind of like looking at him, and he's talking to him, and he's like, I know who you are.
Yeah.
And
well, let's see. let's talk about what we know about Gendry. So he works as an apprentice for the armorer. He's made a bull's head helmet for himself, which he's not willing to sell. So he's bullheaded, as the armorer says. And then, Ned asks him what Jon wanted from him, and he's like, oh, he just asked me how I was and, about my mom. And then he's like, oh, what did you tell him about your mom? So it turns out that she worked in an alehouse, had yellow hair, so I'm guessing blonde, died when he was young, and used to sing to him sometimes, which, so interesting. I mean, I don't know. It's like that book.
Oh my gosh.
Like, what was he doing here? So, yeah. And then Ned's like, okay, he's got curly black hair. Let me look at his eyes. He's got bright blue eyes. Okay, I know what this dude is. And then he talks to the armorer, and he's like, you know who he is, don't ya? And the armorer doesn't, admit it, but it's very clear that he knows this is somebody. And Ned asked the armorer about who paid Gendry's apprentice fee. Turns out it was some, unidentified lord, some mysterious guy, stout and with a red beard or something. So that's interesting. That, somebody went to the trouble to get him into this position.
Yeah.
And then when his people ask him what he found at the armorer, he thinks to himself, what had Jon Arryn wanted with a king's bastard? And why was it worth his life?
Yeah.
So. Good chapter.
Yeah.
Okay. So, which king? Let's start there.
King Robert? I'm gonna say King Robert.
That makes sense.
It's the
King
only
Robert
king
has
we
the
know
black
of.
hair. I mean, there was King Aerys, the king before.
Oh, yeah, I think it's King Robert.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And that makes sense. I will say that.
Yeah.
Because he's got the hair and the eyes.
Yeah.
And then, let's see. I'm going to get to my predictions here. So, let's start at the beginning. So, will the 70 new men that the City Watch has, will they be able to keep the king's peace?
I think so. Yes.
Okay. All right. That was my, throwaway question of the chapter. I always ask one of those.
Yes.
What did Jon Arryn want with the book?
I don't even know. I'm trying to think, how's the book connected to the little kid?
It has a record of, weddings and births and, deaths and stuff. So, but all of the people he thinks, most of these people died.
Maybe... Oh my gosh. Okay, wait. I just thought of this. You're probably going to poke holes in it, and then I'm going to be like, wait, that doesn't make sense. Okay. Okay, wait. What if he's using... Because the book has a lot of factual information. Maybe he's using the book to figure out, dates, so then he can maybe Gendry could be, the rightful heir or something.
But if he's not... His mother wasn't married to the king, it doesn't matter.
Oh, shit. Oh
he's
my
a
gosh,
bastard.
yeah, you're right. See... Oh my gosh, yeah, you're right. Oh yeah, then it doesn't matter. Because I was like, oh my gosh, then it matters, when he was... Okay, yeah, you're right. Maybe... I don't know. I don't know how the two things are connected. That... I don't know.
It is so obvious once you know, but I won't tell you. Obviously.
Maybe you should.
Well, I very much tried, but you didn't get it.
You're so rude. Whatever. You never tried.
See,
you didn't tell me anything.
Whenever we read all the chapters, I always point out the relevant details, but you're just like, la 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 la, that's whatever.
What do you mean? No, you don't. You don't tell me anything.
Everybody listening knows I point out all the relevant details, okay? But it's okay. But it's because I know, so it's easy for me to do. Okay, so why did Stannis go to Dragonstone? And did he have something to do with Jon Arryn's death?
Well, the only other thing that's talked about in this chapter about Dragonstone is that there's a rumor that Jon Arryn wanted his son to be fostered at Dragonstone.
Right, that was one of the gossip
Yeah,
things.
so maybe there's some truth to that. going off this chapter, they really didn't try to hide what they were doing.
But John Arryn's son is now in the Eyrie with his mother.
That's true. But maybe that's just to avoid suspicion, and then eventually he's going to go to Dragonstone.
Okay. So Stannis is at Dragonstone so he can accommodate John Arryn's son?
Yes.
Okay. Got it.
Yes. It's definitely some, like, unfinished business with, like, John, you know? And then he's like, oh my gosh, John's dead. I have to go do this thing that John wasn't able to do.
Okay. And, okay. Next thing. Will Stannis return to the city?
That would be a stroke of luck, so no.
Okay. And why did John and Stannis go to a brothel, of all places? Like, John Arryn also seems like Ned, where he's, like, too honorable for his own good, you know? And then Stannis we've heard of. So, like, they don't seem like the brothel-going people.
Are we sure that they did go to a brothel?
Well,
maybe that was just them, maybe that was their way of, like, avoiding suspicion. They're like, oh, we're going to a brothel. That's why we spent so much time. But the only
way the watchman, like, the person who told them about the brothel would know of its existence is if he, like, watched them go there. Like, they're not telling their plans to a watchman. They're just like, let's go. And then when they get there, they know where they're going.
That's fair. Well, maybe... Oh, no, but Gendry's mom's dead. Wait.
And she worked in an alehouse.
Yeah, okay. I don't know. Who do we... I don't know. What? I mean, the king has had sex with a lot of people.
Yes, that
like,
is very evident.
It could be anybody that, like, that is somehow important, you know? I don't know how yet.
So,
but...
wait, how are you connecting this to them going to the brothel? Show me your...
I'm thinking that they're going to the brothel to find somebody who's going to have dirt on King Robert, because that connects to the book, because Robert's in the book.
Okay.
That is my plane of thought.
Got it. Interesting. That's a little hard to follow, so I'm gonna try and work it out in my mind. But, okay, so we talked about, like, why does Renly care if Marjorie looks like Lyanna? You were just like, to spite his brother. Or
yes. Very cruel, but that's what we're doing. That's what we're going with.
Okay, next up. Who's that mysterious lord that paid Gendry's apprentice fee?
We know a lot of lords. No. Because I was like, oh, it could be someone on the King's Council, but I don't think the king trusts any of them like that. And how do we know that it's, you know, the king?
Do you think the king is aware of Gendry's existence?
Yeah, that's why I was like, wait, no. Yes. Yes.
Okay, so the king knows about Gendry, and maybe it was him sending somebody to look after him? That's what you're thinking?
Yes.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. So, that's it for that chapter. Let's move on to Catelyn. Ooh, the excitement.
Wait. I have a crazy prediction.
Okay.
Like a crazy prediction that, like, makes no sense.
Okay, I love those ones.
So this guy's like, wait. So, we don't... Okay, whatever. So because Ned could be, like, an unreliable narrator, we're assuming that whatever Ned says is right. And Ned's like, oh my gosh, this has to be the king's bastard. But what if it's not the king's bastard? What if it's, what if it's Jaime and Cersei's bastard? And I know it's a crazy prediction.
But why would it have Robert's features?
I don't know, because, I don't know, Robert and Cersei look similar.
No, Cersei has blonde hair and green eyes.
whatever. Okay, fine. It's a crazy prediction.
That's not it. Like, it makes no sense. Why would...
I don't know. I was just trying to connect it to the book and the Lannisters.
See, for a second, I thought you almost had it, but you didn't.
No. I'm sad. I'm just not good at predicting, guys. It's kind of sad.
Okay. I'm gonna move on before I spoil anything. So, Catelyn.
Mm-hmm.
So, Catelyn's on the King's Road with Sir Roderick. She's enjoying the rain. They pass by people heading down to the King's tourney, and she's like, "Ah, these fools." Or, I don't know. I don't think she says that.
Said that.
Yeah, it's just the kind of air she gives off, you know?
Yeah. Even though she's, like, drowned in, like, rain and mud.
Yeah, but she likes the rain and mud because she remembers playing in the rain as a kid and feeding Littlefinger mud cakes.
He gets, and she's kind of, like, comparing that rain to, like, the north rain, and she's like, this is a very common pattern with her, where she just compares everything.
Well, yeah, because she's had two very, like, different life experiences. So it's kind of what we do, like, when I was younger, I lived in India, and then I moved here to Canada, and every time I see something new, I'm always comparing it to either Canada or India, just because that's how I've lived my life. Yeah. And I think that's natural.
Yeah.
Like, how
I'm not criticizing it. I'm just saying, like, this is a very common pattern with her. Like, she always does this.
Yeah, because, like, none of the other characters really have had that experience.
Yeah.
I mean, Ned fostered at the Eyrie, but he did, like, he was born at Winterfell and spent most of his life there, so.
Yeah. Okay, so she's kind of like, oh my gosh, I want to go there, no I can't, gotta just go home. So they...
Well, no, so first she goes up, they come upon the inn at the crossroads, and the reason it's called the inn at, it's the inn at the crossroads is because there's a road going to Riverrun, where her dad's at, and she wonders whether she should go, visit him for advice on what to do with the situation. And then there's a road that goes to the Vale and the Eyrie, and she wonders whether she should go to her sister to get to know more about the Jon Arryn death situation. Mm-hmm. And then she's like, yeah, both of those are bad ideas. I'm gonna go home.
Yeah.
So it's when she gets at the inn. That was the only thing.
Yeah. And then she's kind of thinking about, like, her father's bannerman, and she's kind of like, I don't know who's gonna be by our side if we have a war. And that's also kind of this, like, pattern that we keep seeing of, like who's gonna be on whose side if a war happens. And
because she remembers
sure we'll find out.
Robert's rebellion, and she's thinking about the people that fought on the Targaryen side against her father and, all the rebels. And she mentioned specifically the late Lord Frey, who showed up to the battle after it was done, so nobody ever really knew who he was planning to fight for.
Yeah.
And of course, at the end, he claimed it was, them because they won, but who really knows?
Yeah, we don't know. And so, Cat and,
Roderick, Sir Roderick.
Yes. Cat and whiskerless Sir Roderick. That's always what I think about, because they always make a mention of, like...
Yeah, because he's like, he goes to touch them and they're not there.
Yeah. So they have to pretend.
It's like when I'm not wearing glasses, I'm always like pushing them up because I feel like I don't have them on.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So him
Phantom
and
whiskers.
Yes, they're pretending to be father and daughter, which is kind of this weird exchange. So they come down for dinner from the inn, and there's a lot of people here, and they sit by a singer named Marillion, who brags about being a regular guest at Riverrun and a friend of Edmure's, and Kat's like, that's a joke.
Because Edmure hates singers, apparently.
Hey, wait! Do you remember in the Jon chapter? I don't know if I'm just making a connection out of nowhere and it makes no sense, because I went back to the Jon chapter and for some reason I, like, couldn't find that exact spot again. Maybe I was in a hurry. But, like, isn't there a singer there who got sent there because they slept with someone that they shouldn't have slept with?
Yes. But I don't think it's that singer.
Okay.
I can't remember which one of the boys it is. But he's too young to be somebody.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. See, I was like, I don't know if that's just a coincidence.
He specifically mentions, like, the lord whose daughter he slept with.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I don't think it was anybody near River Run. Anyway, okay. That's not the same guy.
Okay.
Okay, so they sit by Marillion, who's, bragging, and they're like, oh, can we just not? Basically. Sir Roderick's like, I would give you a copper or two, but I would rather throw it down a well than give it to you, because I hate you.
Yeah, Roderick's kind of going off at them.
Singing is a task for girls. Like, that's what he believes, and he's like, you could fight, and instead you choose to sing? How useless. Yeah, and I mean, I obviously don't agree with that, but the singer is annoying, so I agree with that.
Yeah, the singer's being pretty annoying, and Catelyn's like, oh my gosh, whatever. And then they're kind of eaten, or they're being served, and Tyrion comes in. Okay, so I don't know how I got confused. Like, we're 26 chapters in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I read Tyrion Lannister, and my brain went Jaime. So I spent like half of a page after he was introduced thinking it was Jaime. Like, I was reading Tyrion,
and I kind of spoiled
saying,
you last time where I was like, do you think they're gonna meet up with Tyrion?
Oh yeah, see, I don't even know what happened to me. Like, I read Tyrion and my brain, like, literally Jaime, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is terrible, Jaime's here. And like, and then when he kind of made that comment about, like, I don't need a lot of space, my brain went, oh my gosh, it says Tyrion, that guy's like, my brain just went crazy. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I have to go read this part with Tyrion in mind.
Is the younger brother,
comes
and
in.
Also the little person.
I know that, but I just forgot. I didn't even forget. I just made the wrong association.
So Tyrion's there. He's got his guards and Yoren from the Night's Watch. Yes. And, he's settling in for the night. He bribes somebody to give over their room. He's like, whoever gives me their room can have this gold coin, which, as we've learned, is a lot of money.
Yes.
So at this point, the singer is like, I want to make some money. Why don't you let me sing for you? And Tyrion looks over, and he's about to look away, but then he notices Cat. And the cat's out of the bag.
Yes.
At this point, she's got no choice but to, admit it. Yeah, acknowledge it. And she gets up, and she's like, she doesn't even say, hey, or anything. She's just like, hey, you, over there. Remember? You owe me.
Yeah, basically. He's like, remember my dad cared for you. And they're like, yeah, I remember. Yeah,
like, why are you asking?
Yeah. And she's naming off everybody, and she's like, this is where I'm gonna test their loyalties. Kill two birds with one stone. Yeah,
she's like, this is like a really risky thing to do, but there's nothing else to do, so I'm just gonna continue doing this.
Yeah.
And then she says, in the name of King Robert and the good lords you serve, I call upon you to seize him and help me return him to Winterfell to await the king's justice. Dun, dun, dun.
And
a dozen people draw their swords, and she can't tell if she likes that more or the look on Tyrion's face.
That was I did not expect that.
I don't think anybody expect, because she could, like, there's
a lot of other things she could have done in that moment.
Yeah, and I always think, like, maybe she could have been like, oh, I really miss my daughter, so I just dropped down to quickly see them. I had a bad dream about them. Like, she could have made up a use their notions of what motherly people are supposed to be like, and be like, use it against them. But this is the route she chooses, which she acknowledges is risky. And she captures Tyrion. Yeah. Without any real evidence, I might add.
I was like, what? I was literally in shock when I read that. I was like, what?
Yeah, but it was a good cliffhanger, right? Or, like, good ending. Yes. I tried to line up the chapters so they would end this way.
Yeah.
So, at this point, what's your feeling? Did Tyrion do it? Just
I
yes
still
or
don't
no.
think he did it. I still don't think he did it.
Okay,
No.
so Catelyn's making a mistake here.
Yeah.
All right. So how do you think they'll fare on their journey to Winterfell?
It'll certainly be awkward. They can't just be like, "Oh, hey, how was your trip down to the wall? How was your trip?" Like it's not. They're probably not going to talk to him.
Right, but they're not going to be interrupted. Like, interrupted, I say, as in, like, intercepted, rather. That's the word I was looking for.
Well, there's still people no, I don't think so. I think they'll just head on their way home. Or to Winterfell.
And how will... So, 3 questions. How will the Lannisters / Robert / Ned react to Tyrion's capture?
Not well.
Okay, but
Ned's not Ned's not gonna think that it's a good idea. Ned's gonna be like, "Oh my gosh,
is he gonna tell her to let him go? Like, what's he gonna do in reaction to it?
He's not there. He can't do anything right now.
Well, he can send a letter to Winterfell.
Yes, but I feel like at that point it's like so much will have happened. I think that's just useless. Like by the time he even finds out, a lot of things could have happened. I think he'll just try to calm the fire that'll happen when the others find out about it, And I think he'll try to go to King Robert and be like, "It's okay, I'm sure she had reason to do it," King Robert's gonna be like, "This is crossing the line." Well, no, King Robert's gonna be like, whatever, I don't care. Because he just doesn't care about things unless it's for him to have fun.
Right, but we know he's kind of under the influence of the Lannisters. He has the money, all the people around him are Lannisters. He can't just not do anything about this and get away with it.
Yeah. So, and the Lannisters are gonna be like...
No, but what is he gonna do? Okay, let's talk about what the Lannisters will do, and then we'll talk about what Robert will do in response.
Okay. I don't think the Lannisters will, care about the fact that it's Tyrion. I think the Lannisters will just care about the fact that a Stark had the audacity to capture a Lannister. So they're gonna be like, "King Robert, they can't have this audacity. They're crossing the line. First they try to kill my poor baby.
So they're gonna go to Robert?
Yes, they're gonna go to... Oh. Who's gonna find out first? Because that changes what's... Because if they just... They're gonna go to Robert, I think.
Okay. And then
because
what's Robert gonna do?
This isn't something they they don't have to be secretive about this. This isn't something they did wrong. So, but then it also opens up that window of why is he captured? What happened? But no, Catelyn has no evidence, so they're gonna go to Ned, they're gonna go to Robert, and Robert's gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, I have to deal with this.
I have to actually do my thing."
Yeah, and Robert's gonna be like, "Put everybody on trial." So then Catelyn's gonna be on trial too, because she just captured this Lannister.
Okay, so we're gonna have trials for Tyrion and Catelyn?
Yeah, or somebody just gets killed just to, save face for Robert.
Okay,
but
who gets killed?
But I feel like he wouldn't kill Catelyn. I hope he wouldn't kill Catelyn, but I also do think Catelyn's gonna die. Okay, maybe he's like...
I feel so bad for Catelyn every time you say that.
Maybe he'll, suspend Catelyn's powers. And be like, you can't just use your powers to,
So you're no longer the Lady of Winterfell? That's what he's gonna say?
Yeah.
But he's still the mother of the future lord and the wife to the current lord,
Well, maybe he takes that position away and gives it to the Lannisters, and now the Lannisters have way too much power.
Wait, what takes which position away? The position of Catelyn as the Lady of Winterfell?
No. The position, Rob's position.
Oh, so the Starks will no longer be the Lords of Winterfell.
Yeah.
That's really harsh. They've been the Lords of Winterfell for hundreds, if not thousands of years.
Okay, but that's also... No, actually that's too much of a... Then they have no power now. Wait, but
okay.
This is just crazy predictions. But if that were to happen, Jon could come in, because now they're all out of power. Jon...
Yeah, but you said that power will be given to the Lannisters.
That's true. That's true. This makes no sense. Okay, never mind. That's not gonna happen. Ned's gonna
smooth things over.
Yeah.
Deal with it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this, in all, is no biggie, is what you're saying.
What if it like starts the war? What if this is like the Lannisters?
Tell me,
are,
do
like,
you think it'll
okay?
start?
Fine. The Lannisters are like, this is the second last straw.
The second last straw.
Like it's like they're like, this is the last straw. But King Robert's like, okay, if you do one more thing wrong, you are losing all your powers to the north. And now they really have to be on watch, you know? But maybe this is
so
like a
probation.
pardon.
He's gonna put them on probation.
Yes. That is the prediction.
Okay, got it. Okay, that's all I had for questions. Predictions for that as well. Now let's move on to the next chapters. So next time, we're going to read chapters 29, 30, and 31. So the very first chapter, ready for this? I don't know why I'm saying it like that. So very first chapter is Sansa.
Oh my gosh, we haven't seen her since the famous battle.
Battle? The wolf thing, yeah.
Yes. Okay,
So,
cool. Cool. I like it when we see people we haven't seen in a while, and it's not just Catelyn, Ned, John. Okay, so, I lost my thought. Oh, okay, Sansa. So, Sansa's gonna be preparing for the tournament, getting her outfit together, you know, having some high tea.
High tea. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I think's gonna happen, and she's gonna see Arya.
So the tournament's not gonna happen yet?
Maybe it's the day of the tournament. Okay, it's the day of the tournament. Yeah,
Okay.
It's the day of the tournament.
And then Arya's gonna be like...
Annoying. But she has to hang out with Arya because they have to, like, for some reason they have to stay together because they're, like, sisters, you know? So they have to, like, show face to the crowd.
Arya showed no interest in going to the tourney, so she was like... She wouldn't like being there if she is.
Yeah.
Possibly. Okay. The chapter after that... Okay, you're not gonna believe this.
Okay.
Guess who it is?
Eddard, Catelyn, John.
Ned. It's Ned.
Of course. I was like, the fact that you said you're not going to believe this, it's got to be one of the mains.
Well, I was hoping you would say something like, it's somebody so rare or somebody new, but no, it's Ned.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen in Ned's chapter?
Maybe something awful happens at the tourney, and this is like the second chapter is the aftermath. Or wait, maybe it's like something awful happens at the tournament, and it's like, oh my gosh, sad vibes. And then they find out that Tyrion's been captured, because, yeah.
Okay, so that's gonna be Ned's chapter?
Yes.
Okay. Alright, after that, we've got Tyrion.
Oh. Interesting. Okay. I think they'll, like, be at Winter... Okay, but it's a long journey. Okay, you know what? No, they'll be at Winterfell.
Okay.
They'll be at Winterfell.
Like, in 2 chapters, they're gonna get to Winterfell?
Yeah.
What if they've got an airplane all of a sudden?
Well, maybe the passage of time isn't just like, oh, the next day. You know,
that's fair.
Like a few weeks later.
Okay, so they're gonna be in Winterfell.
Yeah, and he's gonna be getting ready for his trial, and maybe now he'll finally think about it, and we'll know for sure if he did it or not. Or maybe he'll be like, I can't believe I let him trick me, and you know what I mean? It'll be very vague, and we'll be like, who's he? Or she, or whatever, you know? Or I don't know, something like that.
Okay. Alright, so that's all I got. Those are the next 3. Oh, I'm so looking forward to it. Oh my god, I can't wait.
Oh my gosh.
We keep taking all these, like, breaks, and it's fine, like, life happens, but it just makes... I'm not a very patient person.
Oh my gosh.
I just wish we could, like, read all the chapters and record in, like, one day, but what's fun is watching you struggle. I think Gendry is Jaime and Cersei's son. Cause
Okay, you know what? I told you at the beginning of this that I can't predict for the life of me. That's why I can watch anything, and that's why I get bored very easily when I'm watching things, not when I'm reading things. But then B, it's also why I can enjoy almost anything that I do finish, because I'm just not like
expecting any of it.
Yeah. Like, I'm just dumb.
You're
that.
not dumb.
Like, I'm just dumb. So I'll be like, oh, that's interesting. Meanwhile, everybody will be like, I knew that was gonna happen since the beginning. Like, the only thing I can predict is, like, tropes. Because that's not even predictions. That's just formulas, you know? That's it. And this is not a very formulaic book. So I'm not very good at predicting it.
Yeah, well, George R. R. Martin has a specific dislike of some tropes. So
good on him.
So he like actively tries to defy them. Anyway,
good for him.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next few chapters. Soon we're gonna be halfway through the book. It'll be fun.
Oh my gosh, we're still not there. We're still not halfway. Cute. What page are we on?
It's only been a year. What are you talking about?
Oh, look, wait. Yeah, we definitely aren't. Like, if you look at where my bookmark is.
Yeah, because think again, 70-something chapters. We're gonna be at 30 next time. So.
Oh my gosh, wait. I'm on the wrong page.
Don't spoil yourself.
No, I won't. Okay, Eddard, and then we still have Catelyn. Yeah, Kate, and that's Catelyn's chapter. Okay, good. I found it. Here we go. Good.
Okay, cool. So write down the ones. Just write them down. Or I'll send you a text.
Okay.
Okay. That's everything we have. We did get another comment, this time on our YouTube, one of our videos. And this was after, like, a long break of posting. So, Margot L., they say that, haven't listened to the episode yet. Just pleased to see you're still continuing with this podcast. There's something really enjoyable about hearing the impressions of unspoiled first-time readers. And I 100% agree, Margot. Which is why I kind of started this, because I wanted to, like, you know, have those moments. Those stupid moments with you. Those moments
you wanted
of
to
stupidity.
Capitalize on my stupidity.
Yes. Well, yeah, sure. Not like we're making money, but, like, I'm getting joy. Like, that.
Yes.
I get payment and joy.
Yes.
All right. Let's wrap this up. All right. Until next time. Farewell, my friends.
Talk to you later.